Okay, it's 8 o'clock. Good to see you all. Really good to see you all. We've been doing these morning meditations now for, I don't know, since certainly since April. So it's been must have been 7 or 8 months now. I can't count. But it's a glorious thing to do, and I'm so pleased that we're keeping on doing them, and that it's good to see old friends coming back again and so on. Good morning, Sarah and Rose. So this morning we're going to do mindfulness of breathing, and I was just thinking about the word mindfulness and how 30 years ago nobody would know what you meant if you talked about mindfulness. But actually, I'm not even sure people know now what you mean when you mention mindfulness. I guess there is a general feeling that it means something like concentration, or just being aware of what you're doing at a particular moment and being careful to know what you're doing. But I think it's generally I would guess most people don't see it for what it is. And I prefer the term awareness, the same thing. But for me, awareness says much more than mindfulness. Mindfulness can be a bit misleading. Awareness seems to me to be much bigger. And this is what mindfulness is. It's awareness. It's this sense of being here right now, all the time. Instead of being caught up in our mind, thinking about the past or thinking about the future, worrying, getting frightened, being judgmental, all these things that we do as human beings. And awareness aims to cut right through that and to be here in the moment without any thought. Well, without any discursive thought, without any chattering mind. And if we can do that, we're really here in our lives. This is, for me, this is the most wonderful thing about awareness. We're actually here experiencing our lives absolutely fully, and it's rich and beautiful. Whereas when we're away in our heads, thinking about the past or the future, or worrying, or judging, we're in a complete fantasy land, aren't we? We're not in real life at all. We're in some kind of fantasy life. So mindfulness is all about coming back into the present again and again and again. And as we do it, as we practice this, it becomes easier. It becomes more normal for us. It becomes not as difficult to do. But we have to go through this practice of letting thoughts go all the time. And gradually our mind begins to change. And when you've meditated for a few years, very regularly, you find that you get quite long periods of being here. And not only that, the world is brighter, cleaner, things bother you less. You're much more content with whatever's happening. It doesn't really matter. Of course, it's not like that all the time, but you begin to experience that more and more. And the more we meditate, the longer we meditate, the more regularly we meditate, we become purer and purer, so that ultimately we become awakened or enlightened when we don't have any problem with this chattering mind. We don't have any problem with our not getting what we want, or getting upset by people, or the world not doing what we want it to do. We're just happy being here right now. So it's really worth pursuing this in a very relaxed way, not without trying to grab hold of it. So we're going to do the mindfulness of breathing. Good morning to Julia. Good to see you too, Julia. And when we're doing it, just if you can just remember that this is what we're doing. It's not about getting annoyed because our minds are busy, when we are getting annoyed when we drift away into some kind of fantasy land. It's about that moment when we return to the present moment, that moment when we are here right now. And every time that happens, when we notice that we've been dragged away by some kind of thought train, just really celebrating that, noticing that there is nothing there except a knowing, and knowing that we haven't been there. And that is wonderful, because that is what we're trying to cultivate. Okay, so I've said enough. Let's start the meditation. So just relaxing, just coming into this present moment, and just noticing how you are mentally, emotionally, and physically. So the thing about being in the present moment is that things are just as they are, and that's fine. So if you're feeling a bit grumpy or a bit sleepy or not very well, then just having a sense of compassion to that, because that's how you are and it's the truth. Equally, if you're feeling happy and content and very well, then just noticing that. So in awareness, we're just interested in how it is at this moment, not how we want it to be or how it might have been or anything else. We're just interested in how things are. So noticing the sensations of your body on the bed, on the floor, on the cushion, on the chair, the contact with whatever you're lying or sitting on. Just really noticing that. And bringing a sense of kindly awareness to the face, to the forehead. You might notice you frowning. But just, if you are frowning, just letting that frown drop out. Just relaxing the forehead. And relaxing the face, all the facial muscles, just letting them sag. Moving down to the shoulders, just letting the shoulders drop. And just noticing that the shoulders move as we breathe. As we breathe in, they rise a little. As we breathe out, they drop. Just very subtly. So as we breathe out, this out breath is a relaxing breath. So as our shoulders drop slightly, just allowing any tension to go with them, just letting go. Just allowing any mental or physical tension to drop away down through the body into the ground. Just letting go. Just being here in this present moment, just letting go. And as we're doing this, you can maybe notice the breath a little bit more. Letting go when we breathe out, the rising of the upper body when we breathe in. The sensations in the lungs and the throat inside the body. Can you feel those? What do they feel like? Without thinking about it, just noticing what it feels like. We don't need to put everything into words. Just enjoying this rhythm of the breath in the upper body. If we can stay in the present moment, everything is fine. There are no problems. We can let the mind relax and be quiet. Everything is perfectly fine. So that's our mission for the next 20 minutes. This is the mindfulness of breathing. And as most of you know, in the first stage, we're going to follow the out-breath. Following the out-breath the whole way from when we begin breathing out to right at the end. And sometimes it helps to count. If you want to count, you can count at the end of each out-breath, beginning with 1 and counting up to 10, and then starting again, counting each out-breath. But you don't have to do that. You can instead just follow the whole length of the out-breath. That's the really important bit. Just being with the out-breath and not paying so much attention to the in-breath. Just noticing that moment of glorious awareness when you realize you've been pulled away by thought. Just coming back all the time to the present moment and following the out-breath from the beginning to the end. So now we're going to follow the in-breath in just the same way. And if we want to count, we can count just before the start of each in-breath. But following the in-breath right from the beginning to the end. And not worrying too much about the out-breath this time. Just just following the in-breath all the way. And just making sure that you're not trying too hard, that you're not putting a lot of effort into this. You need some effort, but it's a relaxed, observing effort, that's all. Just relaxing as we go. So if we've been counting, we can stop now, and we're going to move into the body, into the upper body, and just being with the breath and all the sensations and movements of the breath in the upper body. The expanding and contracting, the sensation of the breath inside the body, the sense of well-being if we really become absorbed with it. And we don't need to think of any of these things, just noticing, just observing. And if you get a short period between thoughts, just noticing what that feels like, just opening up your awareness to a sense of what it feels like to not be thinking. Don't think about it. Just observe what it feels like when you come back from being distracted. So awareness is an experience, not a thought. And if you wish, you can stay with the upper body, or if you want to, just broaden out your awareness to take in other parts of the body. The abdomen, the belly. Can you notice the echo of the breath in these places? the lower back, the upper legs, the lower legs, and the feet. And the head and neck. And then just coming into an experience of the whole of the breathing body, taking it all in without thinking about it. So you can stay with the whole of the breathing body if you wish, or if you want to move up to the area around the nose and the upper lip where the breath comes into the body, and just really concentrating, focusing on the subtle sensations as the breath crosses the boundary into our body and back out again. Brushing the nostrils or the upper lip. And letting go of all effort now, just coming into an observation of your experience right now just noticing how you are in this present moment. And whatever's happening is just happening. There's nothing to do. Everything is fine as it is. If there's pleasant feelings, that's lovely. If there's unpleasant feelings, just noticing those with kindness, not trying to shift them or change them in any way, just accepting whatever is there with kindness and compassion. Well, that's it for this morning. Thank you all so much for coming. I hope that was set you up for the day, and have a really lovely day. It looks like being quite nice weather, a bit cold, but it's not raining anyway. So enjoy your day and take care, stay safe, and lots of love to you all. Bye.